Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jules. Thanks so much for stopping by. This video is just going to be a quick author signing, author interview with Clare Mackintosh. What? Let's go. So I just got back from my very first author event. I have never been to one before. So I went to see Clare Mackintosh. She has a new book being released. This is book 2 in a series. This is her first series that she has written. All her others are standalones. The first book is The Last Party. And I actually have had one of her other books on my list for a while, but I started The Last Party a couple days ago, but I didn't get to finish it before the book signing, but beside the point. So it was really fun. She is a lovely person. She is very funny and energetic, and her accent, I wasn't expecting it, I guess. I don't know why, but yeah, it was just a really good time. Me and my daughter and a friend of mine went, and I was pleasantly surprised. So it was done at a bookstore that's like about 30 minutes from us, and it's just a smaller bookstore. So I was really surprised that they had her there, because she's a pretty big name. But so as we were going up to get our book signed, she had a little QR code to like sign up for like a newsletter, and to get like, she had like a free like short story that she wrote, and if you sign up or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I made a comment, like literally just to myself. I was like, do I do my book email or do I do my regular email? And she's like, book email. She's like, are you a bookstagrammer? And I was like, well, I don't really do that. I was like, I have a booktube channel. I was like, it's just a small thing. And she was very excited about it. She said that she had not met a booktuber in a long time, so hasn't come across a booktuber in a long time. So I was like, okay. I said, well, I'm not really a big deal. And my daughter, of course, is like, you have 300 subscribers. So obviously I'm a big deal to my daughter, which I love that. So impromptu interview with an author happened. My friend was like, oh, you should do like a little interview. And Claire was like, yeah, sit down, let's do a little interview. And I'm like, deer in the headlights. Like, I haven't interviewed anybody before. Like, I literally sit behind a camera and then spew my guts out, mouth vomit words, and then cut them and then deliver them to you guys. Like, I was on the spot, and I was like nervous, and I didn't even know what to ask or anything. But I mean, it was okay. Not to mention that there were other people out there, like, in front of us that were waiting to get their books signed. I kind of felt like bad. I mean, I didn't take up a ton of time, but I felt bad. But I mean, I'm not going to tell her no. If she asks me to sit down and talk to her, I'm not going to say no. Of course I'm going to do it. So here is a little clip of my interview with Clare Mackintosh. Hello friends, I am here with Clare Mackintosh. So this is her second book that's out. If you haven't, the first one is called The Last Party. So I'm here at Rainy Day Books, and we had a little book interview with her and talked all about her. So I just learned that she was a police officer.
Yes.
So tell them where you are from.
So I'm from England. I was a police officer in Oxford. I was a riot commander, and I loved it. I really loved it. I didn't write stories then, but I had my priorities all wrong. It was a tricky time, and I wanted to be at home with the kids. So I took a 2-year career break. And while I was on that break, I wrote my debut novel, which is a book called I Let You Go.
Which I had that on my to read. I haven't read it yet, but I did.
Haven't read it yet?
I haven't read it yet.
What are you doing? Where have you been?
I just got in the book community, so that's where I've been.
So I wrote that book, and 2 weeks before I was due to go back to the police after my career break, I sold that book to a publisher, and then that book went on to sell 1 million copies in 40 different languages, and so I never went back to the police.
That's interesting. So
How
like,
many publishers did you have to send it to?
yeah,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. Yeah, how many publishers did you?
Well,
Besides all picked it up.
so I was lucky that I found an agent really quickly, and then my agent sent it to about 8 or 9 publishers, all of whom turned it down, and then one publisher
Well,
said,
it takes one.
"It only takes one. It really does."
So, what made you think about wanting to write? Like, did you have this idea? How long have you had an idea of wanting to become an author?
I've always wanted to write books, but I think when you're young, you have to see it to be it, right? You've got to be able to see people like you doing that sort of jobs, and I didn't know anyone who worked in the creative industries. People I knew, all the adults I knew, had proper jobs, or shops, or they were doctors, or nurses, or lawyers, or whatever. I didn't know artists and singers and novelists, so it just didn't occur to me. And then when I was in the police, my son died, and I started a blog. And I was writing about everything. I was writing about grief, but I was also writing about motherhood and books and all sorts of things. And my blog gained a really big following.
Sure.
It was like easier back then. This was 2008, and there wasn't quite the same
As many
number
people,
of Substacks. So it was easier. I built a big following, and people started writing to me from all over the world, and it made me realise that I could write for an audience.
Yeah.
So it sort of changed the way that I wrote. And that's when I wrote I Let You Go.
I love that. So series, we did talk about that. So this is your first one. This is your first series that you're
writing? So they've all been so I've got 7 novels out in total. The first 5 are standalones, and then this series. So the first one is The Last Party. This is A Game of Lies, and they're both set in North Wales, where I live. So they're set in this Welsh-speaking community where crimes happen on the border with England.
Yes, I love that. And I am halfway through the first one, The Last Party. So.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I am.
You have to say that, really, because you're looking into the whites of my eyes.
No, I am enjoying it. Yes, the body in the water that you were talking about. I was not expecting that, actually. I thought they were just out to do the polar plunge, and then I was like, wait, there's a dead body.
What's a polar plunge without a dead body?
Right. I'm very excited. So how many more books are you thinking for your series? Or is it just
I just figure that, if people like it and they keep reading, then I'll keep on writing, and if they don't, I'll just pretend it was only ever meant to be a trilogy.
That's perfect. I like trilogies, but I also like long series too.
We'll see. I don't know. My 2026 book, so 2025 book next year is the 3rd in this series, but the one after that has got to be a standalone, because I had the most phenomenal idea for a big twisty standalone, and I'm so scared that if I don't write it, someone else might, so I've got to crack on.
Yeah, you got to do it. Favorite author?
Ruth Ware. I mean, isn't she everyone's favourite author?
Yes, she is a good one. If you have free time, do you read? Do you read books in your time?
I do. I read loads of thrillers.
Okay, I was going to say, what's your genre?
But then every like 5 or 6 books, I need a palate cleanser, and then I need something funny and maybe a bit romantic.
Yeah. So do you like cozy mysteries?
Sometimes.
I think that one that you started for Julie Mulhern.
Right,
she's
so that
one of
looks
my
good.
favorites.
I really like the look of that.
Yeah. The thing I like about cozies is that you get, and series in general, is that you get like relationships, you form relationships with those characters.
Yeah, I think that's nice. No, I'm looking forward to reading that.
But they're good cleansers for me, palate cleansers. But I love thrillers. That's my genre. Thank you so much.
It's
so
a
good
pleasure.
to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
So my ticket came with my book. So I got my book, and she signed it. It says, "For Julie, it's lovely to meet you," and then she signed it. So also at the author event was a local author, Julie Mulhern. She has a couple of cozy mystery series. The book series that I have read, I've only read one of her series. The one I have read is a Country Club Murder series. This is the first one. It says, "Julie, welcome to the club." Julie Mulhern signed it. And I got a picture with her. So I was very starstruck because I love her series. I was asking her lots of questions. So she did grow up in the country club area of the plaza. Reading about the area around that you live in, like, that there's specific things that she talks about. So it's just kind of fun reading a series that's very close to home. So anyway, so yeah, I was a little starstruck with that. So the second series is a Poppy Fields Adventures, and it is, she is the Hollywood it girl. Her mom's a movie star, and she gets in some trouble when she's on vacation and gets abducted by the drug cartel. So, but I've heard it's really good too. My friend reads that. My friend got me reading her books, and she likes that other series as well by her. So highly recommend checking out Julie Mulhern if you like cozies. And also, if you haven't read from Clare Mackintosh, so far I am enjoying her book. Also, you heard in the interview that she did have a son that died 18 years ago, and she wrote a memoir, and I guess she has twins, 16-year-old twins, a boy and a girl. And because one of the questions that somebody in the audience had asked was if her family reads her books, and because she's a thriller, her books are about murder. And she said that her kids aren't really big into reading. They're starting to get into reading, but she said she just found out that her son read her memoir, because I guess she did write a memoir about kind of her grief of losing a child, and that, you know, it really impacted him and he cried. So I do want to read that from her. And she did say that, you know, she wishes that it was more, that people are more comfortable to talk about grief and the loss of a loved one as much as they are about anything else, but that she enjoyed writing it. But obviously, she is mostly a thriller writer. But so yeah, I am planning on checking out some of her books, and I had a really good time for my first author event. I think it went pretty dang good. I had a great time. Next time I go to one, I think I will have some questions in my mind. Those book signing really only had there was maybe only 25 people there. So it was very, which is good for me because I am kind of a little bit of an introvert. So it was nice that it wasn't super crowded, but also there wasn't a lot of people that had questions for the author. So my next book signing, I will be more prepared with some questions of something that I can ask to keep kind of the conversation going. But anyway, that is all I have for now. Until my next video, friends, be yourself, be awesome, be kind.